All right, back at the 2010 PAC-KOTESOL International Conference. Very lucky to snag a few minutes with the program chair, Phil Owen.
Hello,
Thanks for joining
thank you.
us. First, what does a program chair do?
Oh, the program chair, I'm responsible for finding and vetting and choosing all of the kind of regular concurrent sessions and then putting them into the program the right time, the right day, and the right place.
Is that a lot of fun?
It's like working a jigsaw puzzle. You know, if you like jigsaws, it's fun. I don't work much with the big speakers, just with the kind of normal everyday stuff.
How do you approach that as you're putting the program together? Do you need to maintain balance? What criteria do you use were you part of the acceptance or rejection process also?
I monitored it and ran it. I wasn't really part of it because we need to read all of these blind. So everybody submits their proposals and then I compile them into a spreadsheet, take the names off, and send them out blind to vetters and then add up the scores. So I don't vet because I know who's done them. Okay. Actually, I've forgotten which. Oh, yes. And then we look at those scores to see which ones kind of rate highest and lowest, and do a little bit of massaging about. I mean, there are always questions. People who fall kind of on the border, and we do have to take into account then also the breadth of kind of presentations we have, the subject matter, and those kinds of things. So we do try to make some agreement with that.
However, how many presentations, how many concurrent presentations are there?
This year, we have about 24 rooms running 7 hours. So 7 times 24.
It's 168?
Something like that.
Wow.
That includes the commercial presentations in that case. Okay. We accepted, I think, about 140 presentations, and of course a few people always drop out. So about 125 or 130 are regular presentations, and then we have the commercials.
You've got the scheduling challenge.
Right.
What about archiving presentations? It's always something, there's so many presentations going on right now. There are, however many presentations, you can only go to one.
Right.
And there's always that feeling of, I wish I could have gone to that presentation.
Right.
I wonder what they did. Can I see their PowerPoint?
Right.
Are you involved at all in that?
We have not gotten to that, and that's always one of those niggling parts at the back of your head. It would be nice if we did. And maybe we could, but it would take somebody to pull that together. We do publish the extended summaries in the book. If they send us extended summaries, we do publish those so that people who haven't gone to a presentation may be able to read more than just a 200-word abstract. And then every year we do the proceedings. So some presenters then provide full-length papers. But kind of everybody's. We haven't done anything about that.
Okay.
It's a thought.
Well, I was speaking with Henry before, who's the future of KOTESOL committee, so that could be an item. I mean, I even think about having the PowerPoints, and you could even have little mobile recorders. Have the audio, sync them up with the PowerPoints, and KOTESOL lasts all year.
That's not a bad idea. I'm not going to promise that for next year.
Okay, just brainstorming here.
But it is a good brainstorming topic. And the next topic, of course, is who will bell the cat. So we have to, if we do something like that, we do need to get it together in a way that can be continued and maintained. And as we all know, that's a big job.
Will you be doing this next year? I
think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything we should know about next year's program?
Oh boy, it's not up yet. The call for papers should be out early in the year, hopefully right in January, maybe a little later than that.
What advice would you give to people who are submitting presentations? Because I know there were a lot of people who weren't accepted.
Right.
It's a little bit demotivating or disappointing that you wanted to share what you have.
Yes.
And there's not an opportunity.
Right.
Couple questions. What should people know about helping their chances to be accepted. And any thoughts on what to do with that? You've got 200 people whose presentations didn't happen, but that's a lot of energy. Is there any way to tap into that?
I think that people who weren't accepted, many of them are good presentations, or they certainly fit another venue perhaps better than here. And so local chapter meetings are a wonderful place to present and a wonderful place to work out the bugs before it comes to this kind of conference. So yeah, they should be working on the local area, and local chapters should be working to help people polish and their presentation techniques and things like that. I mean, that's one thing we can do for people just by having a monthly meeting. As for presentations and abstracts, titles are important. They should reflect what you're doing. And they should, they can be interesting and kind of fun, but they should tell me something about the presentation. It shouldn't leave me wondering what's going on. It's not an ad this is not a trailer for a movie, okay? You do give away the ending. And as well as the abstract itself should tell me what's going on in there. It should... if you've done research, reference the research, put in your conclusions if you have them. You don't have to save those; they're not a secret. Talk a little bit about your research format, just a little bit, enough to show that you've done it, enough to show what kind of things you're finding.
You're not just making up a paragraph at 1 a.m. the night before.
Yeah. You're not just saying, well, someday I'll probably work on this like 2 weeks before the... Another part is tell us, or work in there kind of what kind of approach you're coming from, or what kind of background you're working from, not your educational background necessarily. What I mean is, Stephen Krashen says, massive input, working from there, or trying to hone skills this way, or I developed a way to do feedback, or we're working with feedback by doing XYZ, That helps us understand if you're really working with the latest best techniques, or if you're just reinventing something that was thrown out years ago, or if you're just talking. So what we're looking for is knowledge that the latest best stuff.
How much is past presentation taken into account? If someone wants to do the same presentation this year that they did last year?
That's up for discussion right now, because it is an issue, and it depends a little bit on. I think it will end up depending a little bit on whether it's a research-based thing, whether you're just reworking the same old research, whether you're doing extended, research extending from that, or whether you're doing a classroom kind of presentation about, here's how you make a video, here's how you play this game, here's how you do this or that. And we may come up with different guidelines on that. But that is something that concerns me, and I think other vetters. And
because I can see both cases of that. If there's 12 presentations or however many presentations going on at one time, people didn't get to see it last year, and they'd like another opportunity.
Yes.
But you want fresh material.
Yeah, you want fresh stuff, and you don't want people just kind of stagnating. The other thing is that, we have a large percentage of attendees at every conference, we assume, are new teachers and new attendees.
Right.
So they haven't seen things. So even if you're doing something that's kind of a standard technique, it may be very helpful to people who haven't seen it. So it is a question of how you recycle that stuff, and I'm sorry to say that it's just a question. I would like to get some time with other people, and we'll do some brainstorming and maybe come up with more secure more real guidelines about that, because that is something people should know when they.
Is there any kind of assessment component for presentations during the conference? Do people score it or get any kind of feedback?
No. We may hear about particularly bad ones, but we really don't have a system in place to then list somebody as questionable or reject them for a certain number of years or anything like that.
That seems ripe with possibilities for problems.
Yes, as well as not every presentation is for every person.
Right.
And I can easily go to a presentation and love it because it's telling me something new, and you could go to one and say, I know all this stuff, it was a bad presentation. So part of that is in the abstract, and writing an abstract that tells me as an attendee whether I'm going to learn something or whether it's going to be the same stuff over again.
Avoid false advertising.
Yeah, avoid false advertising. And it also without some kind of standardizing questionnaire, standardizing way to rate things, I'm a little hesitant about that, and that would also, as you say, fraught with problems, would need a lot of work.
What does a program chair do during the conference?
Fire control. We have a few people who may need to miss, or we may get changes in the program that we have to hopefully let people know about. Hopefully, if I've done it right, actually, I don't have a lot to do other than to take care of problems that may come up.
Well, we're coming up to lunchtime here on the first day Saturday. Yeah. How are things going?
We had a lot of people hit the floor very early this year. I think we had more people, on the floor before, like
attendees.
Attendees at 8:10 or 8:30, sitting around looking in their program books, which was great. But it did mean that it was kind of, front-loaded with a little confusion. But that worked out pretty well, yeah. I think, and things are flowing well. Yeah, I'm happy. All happy, right. Yeah.
Well, thanks
happy.
very much for all your hard work helping make this happen and for telling us about it for a few minutes.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.